Hello everyone, this is Mohammad Mazharul Haq from ISL Engineering College. Welcome back to the class of control systems, and today our topic is about digital control system architecture. What is digital control? A digital control is a branch of control theory that makes use of digital computers for acting as controllers for the system. Here, a computer is responsible for implementation of the control algorithm. A digital control system is also capable of taking the form of a microcontroller to an application specific integrated circuit and even to a desktop computer also. Largely depending on the need, the control system is changed. Usually, a digital control system consists of an A to D conversion for converting analog input to a digital format for the machine. D to A conversion for converting digital output to a form that can be input for a plant, and a digital controller in the form of a computer, microcontroller, or a programmable logic controller. Sample and hold circuit. Now, before discussing about the architecture of the digital control system, now let us have some about the circuits called sample and hold circuit, as well as some anti-aliasing filter, which are new to us. Now, definition of a sample and hold circuit is: the sample and hold circuit is an electronic circuit which creates the samples of the voltage given to it as an input, and after that it holds these samples for a definite time. The time during which the sample and hold circuit generates the sample of input signal is called as sampling time. Similarly, the time duration of the circuit during which it holds the sampled value is called as the holding time. So we know about the sampling time as well as the holding time. Sampling time means in which this duration in which the circuit samples the signal, and holding time means the duration in which the circuit will hold the sampled value already. Now, sampling time is generally between 1 microsecond to 14 microseconds, and the holding time can assume the value as required by the application. Any application if you are doing, if the required time is more, then you can put as more time, and if it is less, you can put as less time. So this is sample and hold circuit. So it will not be wrong to say that capacitor is the heart of sample and hold circuit. This is because capacitor present in it charges to its peak value when the switch is opened. During the sampling and hold, the sample voltage when switch is closed. So in sample and hold circuit, a capacitor is present where it will be sampling the voltage. Okay. So you can see the figure here where V in or input voltage is given, and output voltage is V0 is given, and the command terminal is there where we are transferring the signals. This sample and this is hold. S represents sample and H represents the hold circuit. Okay. Now you all are aware that what is a sample and what is a hold circuit. Together we call it as a sample and hold circuit, or S by H circuit in short form. But what are the driving forces which have turned us in the direction to use the sample and hold circuit? We want to know that? Yes. To understand this, we need to enter into a communication realm. We all know digital communication is better than analog communication. But why? What is wrong with analog communication? Yes, analog communication is also a good communication, but in this analog communication, we can't sample some signals, and according to our desired output, we cannot get the results. So we opt for the digital control system or digital communications. One more thing we have to know here is an anti-aliasing filter, or AAF. It is a filter used for before signal sampler to restrict the bandwidth of a signal. So here, an filter called anti-aliasing filter is a filter used for the signal sampler, before a signal sampler, to restrict the bandwidth. Usually filters are used to restrict the bandwidths or to restrict the frequencies only. So this frequency will, filter will restrict some bandwidth, and it will allow some bandwidth for the sampler circuit. Okay. of basic digital control scheme. Here in this figure, you are seeing a control output, and here you are how to get this control output means we are taking a sensor from the plant, and this sensor is connected to a anti-aliasing filter. And this anti-aliasing filter is having sample and hold circuit. So anti-aliasing filter is known for reducing the noise or certain bandwidth of signals which are causing a problem to the system. Now this sample and hold circuit is also there. As we studied now that sample and hold circuit will sample the signals as well as hold the signals, and the sampling time is nothing but where the samples are done is called sampling time, and holding time is the sampled signals are hold is called holding time. And that is connected to A to D converter, where this A to D converter is making the analog signals from sample and hold circuit to a digital computer. A to D means analog to digital, and this analog to digital are given to a digital computer. Now this digital computer again transforms into a D to A converter that gives the digital to analog signals. These analog signals are given to the control element, and from the control element we can give that to a plant. So all these things are related to each other, because to make the output to a control one, first we need to sense the output. If the output is sensed that it is not proper, or it is having not undesirable results, then we can make a arrangement of all these electronic elements so that the digital computer will be making the reference point and using the clock between the A to D converter, digital computer, and as well as D to A converter. The respective signals are generated as per the clock and as per the digital computer. These signals are generated and given to the control element, where the control element may control the plant without causing any noise. So due to noise only we have got the uncontrolled output. So reducing the noise, the anti-aliasing filter is a main part, and sample and hold circuit as well as A to D converter is also holding a good part for making the control output. Not limited to any example, there are number of applications of the digital control scheme. Now we will see the process of digital control system architecture, how it is going step by step. The analog feedback signal coming from sensor is usually of low frequency and may often include high frequency noise. Such noise signals are too fast for control system to correct, and the low pass filtering often needed to allow good control performance. The anti-aliasing filter shown in the figure above is used for this purpose. In digital systems, the phenomenon called anti-aliasing introduces some new aspects to the noise problems. The analog signal after anti-aliasing processing is converted into a digital form A to D conversion system. The conversion system usually consists of A to D converter preceded by a sample and hold device. So already we have seen these things in the architecture. So these architecture, again we say an example. So the best example is a thermal process. A thermal process is carried out in a when a digital controller and computer connected to it. Nowadays we are having digitalized computers to giving the digital signals to the digital controllers and to control the process. Now we assume that this is a plant, thermal process plant. Some output is desired, some temperature is desired here, and the temperature, if it is not to the mark, the sensor will sense that temperature and give it to a digital controller. Here the digital controller may do some necessary arrangements or necessary changes so that the thermal process is rectified and output is proper output or control output here. And we see the main part here is computer. The computer is reference, which gives the reference to the digital controller, that the signals are given from the computer to how to control the digital controller, how to operate digital controller given from the computer itself. It's a digital computer. So this is about digital control scheme for thermal process, and we see that number of automation process are dependent like this only from the digital system architecture. So the basic to complex circuits are also designed, and we are controlling the complete output by a computer and digital controller only. Now the noise interference is also a real culprit. We will talk about that. It makes analog communication less efficient and less reliable. Thus, in digital communication we need digital signals, but naturally all the signals are analog. This is a turning point where we need a sample and hold circuit. With the help of sample and hold circuit, we can take samples of analog signal followed by a capacitor. It holds this sample for a particular period, and as a consequence of this, a constant signal is generated, and this can be converted into digital signal with the help of analog to digital converters. There comes the use of analog to digital converters. Now we'll study about the advantages of digital control systems. As it is an important topic, the advantages are numerous. We will be making you or enlisting some advantages here. The advantages offered by digital control system are here, like high versatility. They are more versatile than analog because they can easily program without changing the hardware. So with changing the hardware is a Herculean task. So without changing the hardware, you can reprogram the system. So it is high versatility. Next is rugged construction. The rugged construction, digital components in the form of electronic parts, transducers and encoders are often more reliable and more rugged and more compact than their counterparts. Improved sensitivity is one more point. The sensitivity control elements used in digital control requires a relatively low power signal which yields the improved sensitivity. Sensitivity is a major part. So it reacts to the very sensitive thing also. Now flexibility. An important advantage offered by digital control is flexibility of modifying controller characteristics or adapting the controller if the plant dynamics change with the operating conditions. The ability to redesign the controller by changing the software rather than the hardware is an important feature of digital control as against analog control. Now, wide selection of control algorithms. Implementation of advanced control techniques was earlier constrained by limitations of analog controllers and the high cost of digital computers. However, with the advent of inexpensive digital computers with virtually limitless computing power, the techniques of model control theory may now be put to practice. For example, in multivariable control systems, where you require to control the different outputs with more than one input and one output, modern techniques for optimizing systems performance or reducing interactions between feedback loops can now be implemented. So there are a number of control algorithms for controlling this particular digital control system. Now, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it is very growing now. Now, future generation of control system is like future generation will be based on artificial intelligence only. The list of applications based on computer-based control will expand to a high level. Now, as advantages are there, we also have the disadvantages. Disadvantages of digital control are system design. The mathematical analysis of digital controller is sometimes more complex and more tedious as compared to continuous data control system. Discrete is called digital system and continuous data is called as analog system. System stability. System stability is degraded by converting a continuous data system to a digital system. Even a stable second order system can be unstable when converted to a discrete version. So this is the disadvantage only. Loss of signal information. The signal output from the digital controller is converted to analog form before applying to the actuators. However, the reconstruction of digital analog signal using hold circuit is only an approximation of actual signal, so some signal information is lost in the process. This is a disadvantage. Controller dynamic update. Analog to digital and digital analog converters all with digital computers introduce some time delay. So time delay is also there. Software errors. These software errors, the complexity of controller is in the software implemented. Now the transfer system. Usually a transfer function is nothing but you can find out the C of S by R of S. So for a sample data system also you are having a transfer function. Now when we have to derive a transfer function, we should have some block diagram. The block diagram of a unity feedback sample data control system as shown in the above figure, we have seen that the error signal is sampled. The error signal is sampled and also fed to the forward path transfer function. Ordinarily, a sample data control system contains a hold circuit placed after the sampler. If you see that the error signal E of t is sampled and fed to the forward path transfer function only. Ordinarily, a sample data control system contains a hold circuit placed after the sampler. Now, the hold circuit will furnish a certain amount of smoothing. What is meant by smoothing? Smoothing means the output is more polished here and reducing the noise. is smoothing in the output. Therefore, in S domain, the output can be denoted as C of S, which is considered to be the continuous, and the block diagram is shown as in the figure. So, while coming from E of t to E of S, there is certain amount of change where you are adding the hold circuit for furnishing the smoothing of the output. So, we are having here transfer functions for sample data systems. Now, if you understand this transfer function of the sample data systems as given in these two figures 6.5.1 and 6.5.2, the Laplace transform and Z transform of the output C of t is C of S and C of Z respectively. The Z transform, so we come to here the Z transforms. The transform of output describes the behavior of the output signal at the sampling instance only. If you see these outputs at the signals at the sampling instance only, the Z transforms can be applicable to get the output C of t in C of S and C of Z respectively. So, if you understand this point, the Laplace transform and Z transform of the output C of t is C of S and C of Z respectively. The transfer function, the Z transform of output describes the behavior of the output signal at sampling instance. Okay. If you see this figure, the Laplace transform and Z transform of output is C of S and C of Z respectively. See here, C of S and C of Z respectively are the outputs of CRT. So, here we are in the S domain, we are writing C of S. In this figure 6.5.2 given below, there are two figures here. One figure is about the sample data control system is block diagram in time, and second figure is sample data control system block diagram in S domain. So, the Z transform of output describes the behavior of the output signal at the sampling instance. What we have said already, that the Z transform will describe the behavior. So, we have converted this C of t to C of S. In this figure denotes input sampling. It shows a sample data control system where the input is R of S, input is R of S, that is in S domain, and is sampled and fed to the system transfer function G of S. G of S is the system transfer function and output is called as C of S here. Now we are having a T here. That T represents that R of S is changed to R star of S. One more point we remember here is pulse transfer function. This pulse transfer function relates Z transform of the output at sampling instance to the Z transform of the sampled input. When the same system is subject to sample data or signal, that is digital R star of t. So, what is a pulse transfer function? It relates to Z transform of the output at sampling instance to the Z transform of sampled input. Now, from the figure, it is noted that input to transfer function is sampled, that is R star of S, it is sampled input, and therefore the output is also a sampled one, and thus if the input is sampled, then C of S star is equals to G of S into R star of S whole star, because this relates to the output, we are making it starred here. As starring a starred function relates in starred function itself, what we write here is C star of S is equals to G star of S into R star of S. Here, even though are two stars, it will be only one star, because starring a function nothing but it is a star itself. So, this is your making it sampled transfer function R of S, therefore output is also a sample one, and therefore the noise is reduced in this particular function. So, in the Z transforms of this equation 2, it can be written like C of Z is equals to G of Z into R of Z. What does this indicate? C of Z is equals to G of Z into R of Z. We already known that this is a Z transform. We have written here S transform, and now it is a Z transform, where the equation C of Z represents the output in the Z transform, and G of Z represents the transfer function and R of Z represents the input function in Z transform. Now C of Z by R of Z is equals to G of Z. As we know, the transfer function is nothing but the output by input. C of Z by R of Z is equals to G of Z. Now coming to here, the pulse transfer function of a sample data control system is shown here. What is a pulse transfer function? A pulse transfer function is nothing but the sample data is represented in the Z transforms. So Z transforms are more important here to discuss, because whenever it is represented in Z transform, then the values of the values or disturbances and noises are reduced by representing in the Z transforms, and this called as pulse transfer function. If you are having more than one transfer function, G1 and G2, so you can represent in the pulse transfer function very easily. Like I am showing in the block diagram here, in the pulse transfer function, you see that the input and output are also there. If you see this block diagram, it is very simple, but for the complex equations also, the pulse transfer function can be implemented, and this pulse transfer function plays a very important role for reducing the noise and reducing the disturbances in the system. So what we have seen is R of Z is the input in the Z transform and C of Z is the output in the Z transform, and here G1, G2 is also the Z transform transfer function, and we call it as a transfer function, that is G1 and G2 is given here, where it is shown in the G1, G2 block. This block is in the Z transform and there is a transfer function which is represented by G1, G2, Z. Like we will be representing transfer function like GH and other transfer functions, we represent the pulse transfer function of G1, G2 of Z here. So knowing about these particular transfer functions and knowing about these pulse transfer functions, and the sample time is also known as to us, like we are having the input sampling done like this in the S domain. So the pulse transfer function relates the Z transform of output at sampling instance to the Z transform of the sampled input, when same system is subject to a sample data or digital signal R star of t. Means here it is very clear from the pulse transfer function a definition that when it relates to the same sample data, when the same system is subject to the sample data, then the result will be like this: G1, G2 of Z. R of Z is and giving to the processor, that is G1, G2 of Z, that is transfer function, and after processing here, then we get the C of Z. In practical also, these digital control system architectures are designed very well depending upon the sample data values as well as the functions, and also we have seen that different electronic equipments are being utilized nowadays, so that the efficient use of these digital devices are there, and also we will be making the digital control system a very good system for making the works done in a very efficient time. So if you see that the digital control system mainly depends upon the technology also. So the technology is improved, therefore the output also gets improved. If the technology is poor, or the real advancements or some real-time projects, if they are implemented over the digital control system, then they will be giving a very good output in the less time. So these things are to be known to us, so that we can design a very good digital control system. And in this class we have seen about the analog and digital devices or digital control systems, where we have seen the analog and digital control systems having different advantages and different disadvantages also. While coming to the advantages, there were many, and disadvantages are also very less only in the digital control systems, whereas analog signals produce more noise and digital control system reduces the noise by using the new devices or the improved devices which are helpful for reducing the noise. If the noise is reduced, we can get a proper output. So in this class of digital control system, I think I have told different aspects of this pulse transfer function, advantages and disadvantages, and also the architecture of the digital control systems. And in the next class, I would like to tell some more topics on digital control systems, and till then we will be waiting for the next class. So I want to end the topic here. Thank you.